Today, I'm talking about how to connect on LinkedIn without buying a premium membership. I've talked a lot about networking on LinkedIn in the past, and I think it is a platform that you should be using if you're really trying to connect and grow your network. And like every social media site out there, sometimes the rules change on what you're allowed to do. I recently heard that LinkedIn has changed a policy they had where individuals could send a certain number of connection requests per day. And what's changed is now LinkedIn is saying you can only send a handful, 1, 5, 10, I don't know what the actual number is, of personalized connection requests each day on the platform. Unless you're a premium member, which means you have to buy the membership. And I think it's about like $500 or $600 a year. I don't know exactly how much. I used to have a premium membership with LinkedIn, and I didn't renew it this year. I just thought, hey, I'm going to try it out and see really what the difference is. And so far, I haven't really noticed a big issue in terms of functionality. There's a few things I can't do anymore. But for those of you who don't know, if you get LinkedIn Premium, and again, you pay each year, and what they tell you is you'll get more profile views, you'll be seen more. You have in-mail requests, which are messages you can send to people you're not connected to. So you get 15 of those. You get, it sounds like now, open number of connection requests. And of course, that's you writing a note to an individual to connect with them and ask to be first degree connections. And then you can also see who's viewed your profile. So this is one of the big things that people used to like, is you could always go in and see who had looked at your profile. Now, again, those are all premium features. If you want to buy premium and spend the $500 or $600 a year to do that, you certainly can. I know a lot of people who do. And if that's in your budget, go for it. There's nothing wrong with it. I, again, haven't done it this year, and I haven't seen a huge decrease in I guess connections or functionality. Yes, there's some things I can't do anymore, but they're not that important to me. They're not a priority. But if you're brand new on the platform and you're trying to connect with people and you're trying to grow your network, this change in their policy is going to limit how many people you can reach out to and connect with. And so, like I said, if you're someone who wants to grow your network on LinkedIn and use it as a way to meet new people, it's going to limit you a little bit. Not totally, but it'll limit you a little bit. And I think there's some things you can still do in terms of connecting, or ways to connect with people that don't require you to send a connection request. So that's still a good networking site. It's still a good platform to get on. There's a lot of things that you can still do with it. I want to talk about 3 of those things today to give you my ideas of how you might get on LinkedIn and continue to connect with people and build a network without hitting your connection request limit. These are all things I've talked about in other issues before. They're things that we've pointed out as other things you should be doing on LinkedIn, even without this change to the connection request limit. So here I am. I'm going to talk through those 3 things that I think you can do. If you have other ideas, let me know. I would love to hear it. This is fairly new, and again, things are always changing. So by the time you read this or you listen to this episode, things could have changed again. At one point, they tested this, and LinkedIn users got very upset and sent them a bunch of letters, and they said, okay, we're not going to roll out this feature. And then like a month or 2 later, they rolled out the feature. So I don't know what they're going to do, and they may always change their mind. Okay, so what can you do if you can't send a lot of connection requests because you're not a premium user and you don't want to pay for it? And how can you still connect? Well, number one, and this is something you should be doing anyway, but you can always follow as many people as you like. And what I mean by that is you go to their profile, and instead of hitting connect, you hit the plus sign or the more options button, and you follow. And following people allows you to see what they post. It doesn't necessarily allow you to message them, again, unless you have in-mail credits or something like that. But it does allow you to follow their posts. And that's what you want to be doing a lot of anyway. If you're going to get active on LinkedIn, you want to start following people who are active and post a lot and who post around topics that you're interested in. It could be your industry, it could be your job, it could be just a hobby. It could just be something you want to learn more about. You should be following those people anyway. But now that they've made this change, you definitely want to be following people. And what do you do when you follow them? You go back and you see what they've posted and you comment on their posts. Okay, this is, again, we've talked about the follow and the comment strategy before, way back in my series when I talked about how to use LinkedIn for networking. It was in the first dozen, first 10 or 12 issues of my newsletter. I talked about that. So I'll definitely put the links to that in my newsletter this week. But following and commenting is something you should be doing anyway. Now, especially now if you can't connect with people. After you've commented a few times on somebody that you're following, you're going to potentially catch their eye. They're going to see that you've showed up, that you're consistent, that you take an interest, that you leave a good comment, that you're adding value to the conversation. And the reason why that's important is because if you are going to connect with them, remember, you only have so many connection requests a day, maybe like 5, say. You want to make sure that those get accepted and you can start a conversation with the people who accept them. You don't want to just be sending random connection requests to a lot of different people. So following and commenting builds that rapport and that relationship so that when you do connect with them, they're more likely to accept it and you can start a conversation. At the same time, they may reach out to you. If you're showing up consistently and you're commenting on their stuff and they look at your profile and it's something that they're interested in, they may send you a connection request. They may be a premium user anyway, and that may, be one of their connection requests they can send. They have more to send out, so they might connect with you and then you don't have to use one. So with this strategy, there's a couple key things. Number one, you want to make sure that it's people you're interested in and you could, send comments about. Number two, you want to make sure they're active on LinkedIn because you don't want to follow people who never post. So when you go to their profile, you want to go down to their most recent activity and see when the last time they posted was. And if they're posting every day or once a week, that's a good person to probably follow. They're probably going to continue to do that. Those are the people you really want to follow and comment on. And, feel free to strike up the comment strike up the conversation in the comments. And if there's, again, some back and forth, those would be good people for you to potentially connect with. So you've got to get a little bit more strategic with what you're doing here in order to build those connections that might turn into some sort of relationship or at least a conversation that could point you in different directions for opportunities. So that's number one, employ the follow and comment strategy. Number two, start writing your own posts. There are many people who are lurking on LinkedIn. They like to just read posts and maybe they don't even like or comment, or even if they like and comment, they've never written their own post. And I know that it can seem scary to do that, to put yourself out there and give people your opinion. If you're doing this, you're eventually going to get some people that comment on your posts and you're going to have people reach out to you and want to connect with you. They're going to say, hey, that's a good insert, or I like that, or I'm really interested in what Greg has to say. So I'm going to start either following or I'm going to ask to connect. And once you've connected, again, connecting gives you the permission, so to speak, to send messages back and forth. So the connection is more important than the follow, just because you can then have an individual conversation online with the person through LinkedIn messaging. But writing your own post is a great way to have people connect with you. If you're not sure what to post, a great thing you could do for somebody that you're following is repost something they posted. Okay, again, so you've already commented maybe, but if you repost it, the author's going to know that. You're going to get their attention. And don't just repost and say nothing, right? You can repost and not put anything in your update or the text above the post. But don't do that. If they have a great post, repost and put your insights on it. Tell them, say what you liked about it, or say why this is good, or say why the people who already follow you or are connected with you should read this post. That's going to be your post that's going to get out there. So everybody you know is going to see that. If they comment or like it, all the people they know are going to see your post, and that's going to bring other people to your post who might comment and connect. That's how you start learning how to post. Another thing you can do is those comments you're leaving, you can turn those comments into posts as well. If you have a really great comment and lots of people liked it, there's an option in LinkedIn to say, turn this comment into a post, and it will start the post for you. And then you can write a little bit more and you have your own post. These are good ways to start posting. Again, if you're posting, people are going to see you. They're going to want to connect with you. What you don't want to do in your own posts, especially when you first start, because when you first start out and you don't have a lot of connections, not as many people are going to see your posts. Do not put a link to an external site in your post. If you have a cool article you found and you want to share it, great. Say, I read this article, it's called this and this, and here's the summary of it. Don't put the link in your post. And the reason why I say that is LinkedIn wants you to stay on the platform. If you put a link in the post, their algorithm's going to see that, and it's going to say, this isn't something we want to show to people because it's going to take people away from LinkedIn. So they won't show it to as many people. Everybody argues about this. Some people will say it doesn't matter. You should put it in there anyway, or put it in the comments. I don't know how the algorithm works. I do know on my own, when I start to put links in, it decreases the reach of my posts. Now, I do some other things to offset that, or I've gotten to the point where I get enough impressions that I don't care if they go down, as long as the link to my post, which is usually a link to sign up for my newsletter. That's what I want people to do. So even if I don't share it with as many people on LinkedIn, the people I do share it with will click and go to the newsletter. But when you're just starting out, don't do that. I see people do this all the time. They have an article, and when you go to an article, you can click the share on LinkedIn, and they will, and it'll show up, and then they never write anything about it. And I just can tell that nobody's seeing this, and they're thinking to themselves, well, LinkedIn doesn't work. Nobody sees my posts. Nobody comments on my articles. But that's because they're linking to external articles. Now, back to the repost. If you're reposting somebody else's post from LinkedIn, you're not taking them away from the site. And LinkedIn wants you to stay on the site. So if you're not taking people away and you're actually sharing somebody else's LinkedIn content, that's going to not only help the author, but that's going to help you as well. So reposting, if you don't know what to write, reposting is a good place to start. Commenting is a good place to start, but start writing your own posts if you really want to start growing your connections on LinkedIn. The last thing is getting focused on quality and consistency. Okay, so back to the whole problem we're trying to solve, which is you have a limited number of connection requests you can send a day on LinkedIn right now with a regular subscription. Focus on who you really want to connect with. You cannot just send a bunch of connection requests hoping that people are going to respond. You're going to really need to make sure that you're selective about who you connect with. And not only that, but you show up and connect each day. So let's pretend you only had one connection request each day, and you found a really good person who is active on LinkedIn, who is talking about the stuff you want to talk about, who seems open to talking to people in comments, and you want to connect with them. You can do that. And make sure you're writing a really great connection request note, because you can add a note when you send it, and then the people will know why you're connecting. So write a great note, and then that person's likely to accept. That's better than sending 20 to random people without notes and getting 2 people to accept. So you're going to really have to focus on quality. And if you only had one a day, that's too bad. It's unfortunate. But if you had one a day and you send a really great connection request once a day, every day or every weekday for a month, at the end, you'd have about 20 connection requests that hopefully got accepted. That's 20 new people that you can have a conversation with and start talking to grow a professional relationship. So again, to review, number 1, make sure you're using the following commenting strategy. That way, hopefully you're able to connect with people with a limited connection request you have. 2, start writing your own posts. Either repost or turn your comments into posts, because that will get people connecting with you. And lastly, really get focused on the quality. And even if you can only send 1 or 2 a day, send those to high quality connections and show up every day and do it. Don't just do it one time. Don't just do it on Friday afternoon or Saturday or some other time when you've got some extra time. Do a little bit each day and be consistent. That's going to help you grow connections. It's going to help you stay active on the platform. More people are going to see you. And that's how you're going to grow those connections that you can then move from a LinkedIn environment to a voice-to-voice conversation, face-to-face conversation, and that you can start to really develop deeper professional relationships. So those are my thoughts on the change on LinkedIn, on having fewer connection requests if you don't buy the premium membership. Hopefully that helps. If you have questions about that, feel free to reach out, leave a comment in leave a comment here below this video, subscribe to this video, subscribe to my newsletter, send me an email, follow me on LinkedIn. There's a number of ways you can get in touch with me. I'm here to help you, teach you to be a better networker. So until next time, go out, meet some interesting people, and always be connecting.